Motorsport 411 presents
all the four and two-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
Welcome to Motorsport 411, your home for all your four and two-wheel action in Africa. Coming up in this episode, we'll focus on the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla Rally, the penultimate round of the Africa Rally Championship. We'll speak to the top three drivers, winner Karan Patel, second placed and championship leader Leroy Gomes, and third place to Hamza Anwar.
All the four and two-wheeled action. Motorsport 411.
Welcome to the show. So Hamza Anwar secured his second podium in a row in the Africa Rally Championship with a solid third place in the Rwanda Rally. After the event, I spoke to Anwar and asked him if that's a sign of his driving maturing.
Yeah, definitely. Getting my commitment levels growing rally by rally. I'm getting on with the Adnan. The notes are making sense. And rally by rally, we're learning. A lot of people out there giving us good advice, good help. Carl Flash Tundo, Boldev Chaga, Karan Patel himself. We've got, and on top of that, I've got my father Asad Anwar, and I've got my uncle Azza behind me. So definitely, yeah. I mean, it's going well. 2 podiums in a row. So I say Alhamdulillah. It's all praise to the Lord. But yeah, slowly we'll climb.
You mentioned Adnan Din. How key has he been to your success?
He's been very key. I think he's the only co-driver I've sat with that's never got scared. So he did ask me in the rally, do you not want to have kids one day? I looked at him and I said, let's just enjoy the moment. So he's been fantastic. I mean, the pace notes and everything, we've got a good relationship going, and we have a good understanding in the car and out of the car. So I think that makes a very big difference, and the trust with each other, that's a really it's a big plus.
You were known for crashing and making a lot of mistakes not so long ago. What's been the difference now? How has your driving changed? Okay,
I mean, I've crashed once. I mean, you never know you never know your limit until you crash, but because we're so new into rallying and we've come to the top very quickly. So, there's a lot of, like most of the drivers have had a lot of years, probably 10 years plus, and we've just come in our second season and we're already kind of up there. So, we've been learning a lot, and we've had to learn very fast and get over the obstacles very fast. And I think that's been key to our success. And, it's all about seat time in this game and having seat time. Unfortunately, we haven't got much of that, so probably that was what was linked to our breaking the car and everything. But I think with time you learn and develop your mechanical sympathy on your vehicle, so you learn its limitations, what it can do and what it can't do, and I think you just push it to its limit.
Now, it's very impressive. A lot of people forget when they look at the times that you're actually driving an R3 and you're competing against the R5s. Just tell us a little bit about the car and the limitations of that car compared to the R5s.
So the Rally 3 car is actually, it's a new class with the FIA regulations. So it's a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine with a 30mm restrictor. So, I mean, it's quite restricted on power. It's about 215 brake horsepower. But on the upside, it's got quite a bit of torque, similar to an Evo's torque. So it's mated to a SADEV 5-speed sequential. And, it's a fantastic little car. It's got good travel. It's running on Rigers, Alcon brakes. So it's quite a good little package for beginners to get into rallying. And, from M Sport Poland, their words are, a good driver in an R3 can keep up or beat an average driver in an R5. So that's our mindset. We're always trying to increase our pace and eventually get up there. But our focus for this rally was actually just to grasp our championship, because we've had a really rough round. We've not really had the R3. I've been using my own car for two of the first events, Uganda and Equator Rally. And now we had Arusha and, of course, just recently Rwanda. So Jeremiah was leading us in the Junior Africa Rally Championship, and that's our actual main focus. And now we seem to have grasped the lead. And now we have Zambia to consolidate that, hopefully.
Now, the Ugandans were calling you the problem child. Just tell us about that.
I don't know whether it's all my shenanigans on the roads or it's, but it seems to be the pace. And I think for me, I always love to put a show on for the crowd. I live to see the crowd happy. When I see the crowds cheer, that's me. For me, I come from a background of not really mattering about the result as much. I try and focus on myself and drive my own rally. But where there are crowds, it seems to be a plus because my driving is flamboyant as the norm. So I think for them, just to see how the car is passing and my commitment levels, it's just become problem child to them. So there's a lot of memes going around, but it's funny. But it's only a beginning. We have to be humble. Arusha, people said it was a fluke. So we came back with Rwanda and said, this is our pace. We could have backed off. We could have gone slower, but we wanted to prove to people because there was a lot of negative stigma. But I mean, that's normal. That's rallying. Your haters make you stronger. But yeah, I mean, everyone seemed to have shut up. So, I mean, yeah, we're happy with our result.
And that's quite a bounce back. There was a disappointment. You also finished on the podium in Nanyuki before the disqualification. That's quite a bounce back coming into Rwanda. Yeah,
unfortunately, you see, what I want to bring back, what I want to give back to the sport is the original, the authentic, the sportsmanship. Kenya has really lost a lot of sportsmanship to people who don't have the talent or don't have the clean heart to actually achieve their goals. And I believe in life, when you give it your all and you're clean and you've been honest with people, you will get your results. But if you're going to beat around the bush and try and win it on a small technicality, and you want to fight with the youth, I mean, you can do that, but at the end of the day, you'll have no respect because clearly people can't keep up to the speed. And if they want to bring the little politics into the game, they can. But I'm trying to bring the vibe, and I want to bring the vibe to back that real rallying. Like, it's me and you, let's take it out, battle it out on the stages. If someone has taken a shortcut, then feel free to protest. I mean, go ahead. But if it's a little technicality and you want to fight with young kids, I mean, you can go ahead. We are above that, and we're not going to argue with that. I mean, we're not heading for any championship, so we actually didn't bother arguing with the case. But yeah, I mean, I went to prove a point in Rwanda once again. And it wasn't easy coming third. We had to keep the battle on. The pressure was on till the last stage. We had big names like Jas Mangat and, others to mention. My own teammates, Jeremiah was driving very well. Very impressed with his pace. Macreo as well. Maxine was doing very well, to be honest. So everyone drove well. But just to say, I mean, I don't want the negativity in rallying. I grew up in rallying with very positive energy, and people would take it out on the battlefield. When you're in the stages. So all the other little technicalities of someone being pushed. I mean, you're a competitor. So just for example. So that's what I've come to it. Win it with speed. Don't win it with negativity.
Now, there were one or two issues in Tanzania. It looks like it's all ironed out within the team for Rwanda. How's the team spirit amongst the crews in Rwanda? We're talking about the young rally stars.
The team spirit is very good. There's always, we're Rally Stars is a new team. We're a growing team. We're finding ourselves, and Rwanda was a successful event. Tams Racing did a fantastic job with the cars. There are always problems in rallying, but we proved it with our speed.
All right. Now, Mombasa Rally is next in the Kenya National Rally Championship, but I understand you won't be competing in that.
No, to be honest, I wouldn't. I've not really enjoyed the politics in the game. Furthermore, we have Zambia coming up soon, so we want to keep our focuses on that. But maybe towards the end, the Guru Nanak, we might come back to have a bit of fun.
All right. And of course, you got the Evo. Just tell us, you've got two Evos. You were not using the one that you purchased from Carl Flash Tundo. Just tell us which Evo you used in Nanyuki.
Okay, so the Evo we used in Nanyuki was the original. It was actually the first Evo 10 in Kenya or East Africa or maybe Africa as well. It was ex-Peter Horsey's car. So it was. It's quite an old car, but it's a very clean car and it's been kept well. So we actually got it set up with Boldy, and the car was running as better as ever. So we thought, if Karan's in a Group N, let's give him a good run for his money. And Chana's in a Group N, so we said, okay, let's go and see what we can do. Because the R4 has a slight advantage over the Group N's, so I said, all right, but maybe towards the end of the season, I'd really love to come with the R4 and give it a good push.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411, and the best of luck for Zambia.
Asante sana. Thank you very much, guys. Love to all my fans.
That's third place finisher Hamza Anwar. We'll be back.
All the 4- and 2-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411.
So welcome back. Now, Leroy Gomes is in pole position to win the Africa Rally Championship on home soil in Zambia after securing second place in the Rwanda Rally. Gomes has 126 points to Karan Patel's 105. After the event, I got to speak to Gomes. Leroy, thank you so much for joining us on Motorsport 411. Second place at the Rwanda Rally. You must be pleased with the result and looking at the bigger picture.
No, absolutely. Looking at the big picture, definitely pleased with the result. It was very close to possibly sealing it, but I think Karan had other plans. So, and like I always tell everyone, he's a phenomenal driver. But it's a good result, and it just sets us up for a little easier end to the season. But yeah, it was great fun.
Now, there's a story going around that you used the wrong gearbox for the Rwanda Rally. Just tell us more about that.
So for my driving style, I always prefer to use the short ratio gearbox because the way I write my pace notes, I kind of write my pace notes going with the gear that I want to be in and the speed I feel I need to be in that corner. And I'm not comfortable with the long ratio. So our top speed on the short ratio is like 172 kilometers an hour. And the long ratio is 186 kilometers an hour. And this rally was a super quick rally. You were planted all the time. And so I think I lost a lot because of my gearbox choice. So I never had top end speed. And like I said, in some of those stages, you'd be on the limiter, 2-3 kilometers, you could sit on the limiter.
And of course, from a mental point of view, this was always going to be a tricky rally for you because you didn't really want to make any mistakes and to retire.
No, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, this season for me has been one of the trickiest in my rally career ever because I'm used to going to an event and just racing, and whatever happens. But every event that we've raced this year, we've had to manage it because we've got a bigger picture on the championship, which is what we're trying to achieve. So you find that, you don't take any chances. I was a lot cautious. I think braking a little bit too early many times and not very, precise on my braking. So I'd brake maybe 2-3 times before I needed to actually brake. But like I said, we kept it clean, kept it on the road. And because of the speeds that we're doing, you just don't want any incidents and you don't want to retire. So yeah, it's been quite a tense one.
Leroy, for you, Ursula, the team, do you realize the magnitude should you win the championship? It's become a Kenyan affair really over the decades, the Africa Rally Championship. And heading into your home rally with the lead, really I think you just need a top 10 finish to secure the title. How much of an excitement, how much of a buzz is there in Zambia about this?
Sean, I think there's a big buzz, but I am so scared. Hey, like I said, it's the most nerve-wracking I've ever been in a rally. I mean, everything is so calculated. You're trying to make sure that the car is practically new every time you go into a race. It's one of those where you think to yourself, look, like you said, I think if we finish 8th in the next event, we can still carry the day. But rally is such an unforgiving sport. Anything can happen, so you never write it off till it's over. But in my head, it's just the way we approach it. You don't want to drive too slow, but you also don't want to drive too fast where you might take a risk and something happens. But again, being on home ground, everyone expects you to fly. Everyone expects the battle between Karan and Leroy to go to who wins the actual event. And but for me, it's managing the championship. I would love to win the event, and I'd love to take a battle to him. But there's just so much more to lose. So we really have to be a lot cleverer when we approach it.
Now, you and Ursula really are the face of the team, but there is, of course, all those heroes behind the scenes that make this possible. Can you tell us a bit about the team?
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? I have the most amazing crew. I mean, Giuseppe is I think an African household mechanic name when it comes to motorsports in Africa. And we've just combined a good mix from our European crew to our local crew. Without them, we can't do anything. Right now, they're on the road driving back, doing the hardest part of the ARC, which is the long drives. And I love them to bits. All the credit goes to them because they prepare a safe car, a quick car, and we had an incident-free race, nothing wrong with the car whatsoever. And we thank God for that. And then, of course, we've got our other part of the crew, moms and dads at home. My mom and dad, praying for us. My mother and father-in-law as well, praying for us, looking after our kids and keeping them safe. That's also quite taxing. I mean, in the build-up to the day 2 morning, listening to music, trying to get yourself zoned, and then you're listening to the songs that the kids like to listen to, and then you shed a tear or two because you're thinking of them, you miss them, and they're all there rooting for you, cheering for you. So it's a big thing, this whole championship, because there's big sacrifices that we've made, with the kids. But back to the question with the crew, the most amazing crew I could ever ask for.
Now, it's a unique relationship. Your wife is also your navigator. Just tell us about the relationship in the car itself.
Look, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. On my bucket list of things to achieve in motorsports is definitely and will be to win the ARC. But I want to win the ARC with my wife, so that we can share this platform together. We can share this chapter in history together. And I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. Our chemistry in the car is excellent. Our chemistry out of the car is excellent. And I hope it does inspire other couples in the future to see that you can go into a very high intense sport and still have so much love in and out of the car. And hopefully it'll inspire more couples in the future in motorsports to take this route, because it's, like I said, for me, it's been phenomenal.
Fantastic. We can't, of course, leave you without a word about Kenya and competing in Kenya. You've got a very close relationship, particularly with Onka. And I also know the likes of Boldev, Flash Tundo as well. Just tell us about your relationship with Kenya.
No, look, Kenya, like I tell, actually for us, we're more famous in Kenya. We are so warmly received. We've had so much support from Kenya. For me, for me, Kenya is my home too in Africa, and that's my other family. A big family now is in Kenya. Even with Karan and his family, even though we're competing, we've become so close. But Onka definitely has. I have such a soft spot in my heart for him. He's been phenomenal. His family's been phenomenal in shaping a lot of what has happened in the Kenyan rally. I do feel they were so instrumental in the WRC coming back even to Kenya. And, I have so much love and respect for them. It's so, and then I respect their decision now to fall out of motorsports, but they're definitely a family that will be missed severely in the sports fraternity. As for Baldev and Flash, I think they're also in a transition in their lives where they may not be into the more aggressive sprint format of rallying, but they definitely have been the flag bearers and the beacons that shine Kenyan motorsports. And but it's so good now to see the new generation in Karan Patel and the Rally Star program with Hamza and Jeremiah and McRae and Maxine. Amazing drive. I need to mention their drive in Rwanda was phenomenal. Hamza, absolutely brilliant upcoming star along with Jeremiah. And I see those two really also taking the sport in Kenya to another level. And those are, no disrespect to McRae and Maxine, amazing drivers, but for me, they're my favorite youngster drivers at the moment, and I'm enjoying watching their development.
Amazing. Are we going to see you at the Safari next year?
Oh, yes, and 100%, because, when we did the Safari this year, it was a managed race again, because we knew we had the ARC and we couldn't break the car. And so we had to really pace ourselves, control ourselves, because the bigger picture was, in 2-3 weeks' time, we're in Tanzania. So next year, I want to race just to race and have fun. So Safari, we want to come back and this time race and not try to manage the race.
Fantastic. As always, thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411. And please pass our regards to Ursula and the team.
100%.
Thank you so much, Leroy.
Sean, thank you so much. Like I said, you guys are my family now, man. Kenya is home for us as well. We, like I said, it's phenomenal. The connection that we have now with Kenya after this season, it's just phenomenal.
That's second placed and championship leader Leroy Gomes. We'll be back.
All the 4 and 2-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411.
So welcome back. Now Karan Patel keeps the fight alive for the Africa Rally Championship title after winning the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla Rally. After the event, I spoke to Karan and asked him if that was one of the most impressive victories of his career.
Thank you very much. I guess you can say it was impressive. On my side, it was a bit, with the first crash in practice 2 and then going into quali and winning the quali. So, yeah, it just made the win a lot more meaningful for all of us, because there was a lot of unsureness about the final result.
Yeah, and of course your car was having issues. It's not often that the Ford gives you problems. Just tell us about it.
Yeah, we suffered issues with the car, misfiring, running on 3 cylinders. It happened in stage 1 of the rally, the first kilometer, I think, and I wasn't sure what the problem is. So I drove through that stage with a misfire all the way to the end, and then a small repair at the end of the stage, going into the second stage, and we didn't have the issue in the second stage. And then it kind of came back in the third stage, and then I tried to switch off the car and switch it back on in the stage, and that problem resolved itself. So I realized I could be doing that. So it was just a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of changing of parts, but yeah, a lot of time lost. So it's like one stage the car would behave, the next stage it wouldn't behave. So we were like losing time one stage and then really pushing hard, get back the time where the car was behaving. But ultimately, I realized the misfire would only come about when I reached the top speed of the car and reached the rev limit of the engine. So, most of the rally then we stayed under the rev limiter, making sure our top speed didn't exceed. We knew Leroy is on a short ratio gearbox, so we know his top speed is around 176. So I would actually stop my car from exceeding around 176 also, and the misfire would not come. So still, wherever we lost time, it's because then there is a misfire. Sometimes exiting corners, we'd have to be on the limit, just to get out of the corner because we're carrying a lot of speed. The power was needed. But at the same time, initially I wouldn't be able to commit into corners because I wasn't sure if the misfire would come mid-corner, and then we'd definitely have a crash, because at those speeds you need the torque from the engine to pull you out of corners and situations. So it was just a bit hectic, a bit unpleasant, lots of butterflies, lots of nervousness, not knowing what the car would do and how we'd finish the rally. But yeah, we really pushed where we could. But yeah, we had to stay off the top speed of the car, and then it wouldn't give us the misfiring issue.
Now the pressure must have been incredible for you and your navigator Tosif Khan. Just tell us about the pressure, because it was not only the problem of the car, but also knowing that you had to win the rally just for you to stay in contention for the championship.
Yeah, so it's for me, I'm very happy, I'm very humbled, I'm thankful. These issues and the whole rally has taught me something else about rallying as a whole. And as they say, the more we rally, the more we learn. And this was something to learn from, because there was so many things going through my head during the event, so many uncertainties with regards to how the car will behave. So it really taught me to manage the situation, and really taught me that it's never over till it's over. So all in all, very, very important learning curve for us as a team. And at the end of the day, I did crash, I did damage the car. My team put in a lot of work to bring it back into a good racing condition. Then for qualifying, we didn't disappoint. We won the qualifying, and then over the next 2 days, just up and down, a lot of uncertainties, like I said, but we came out on top, and a lot of us were just close to being in tears.
A word about Tosifa. How impressive was he throughout the weekend?
Oh, well, without him, we wouldn't be where we are today. It's, we've come a long way from our early days of rallying. He's taught me a lot. And so, it's been a good journey. I hope to go a very, very long way with him, into the future of the sport. And hopefully he's there for the longest time with me.
Your parents are everywhere that you go. Without them, obviously, you wouldn't be where you are, huh?
Yeah, very, very, very true and very correct statement. It's something, obviously, I started racing bikes, and my mom and dad supported me through there, except for when studies were the priority. And from the bikes, then there was a pause, like a sabbatical, I would say, to go and get a degree, get a job. And then when we started rallying, it's, we started with a cheaper car, got an Evo 10, and then get the Ford Fiesta. So it's just been something, obviously my dad has played smart about. It's not like we got the best car and started driving and hope for the best. It's just a lot of support from their side, but also based on the performance and the effort that I'm putting in to be the best driver I possibly can. So it's teamwork. I cannot be partying all night and day and then trying to be a rally driver. Also, there's a certain way of life I have come to live, and that's the way of life that I think a professional driver or one that wants to be a professional driver should live. And the dedication from my side is I think something that also is what encourages my family and my parents to invest in me and the team.
Now, it's really, really tight. You got the Mombasa Rally. That's the middle of October. And then the following weekend, it's Zambia. How do you approach both rallies? Because you're literally fighting for the title on both fronts.
Yeah, we're going to go to Mombasa with the Mitsubishi. And while we're in Mombasa, the Fiesta will be on its way to Zambia. So we do have, again, we're thankful for the team that we have and the support and the crew who are willing to, work extra long hours and drive extra long journeys to make sure that we can at least do our best to give us the best chance of winning both championships.
Yeah, just finally for Zambia, it looks like, according to our mathematics, I think Leroy needs a top 8 position to seal the title. That's in his home rally. For you, I guess you approach it the same way, just trying to win the rally and to do your best.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the bigger picture. It's not, touch wood is not the end of our rally. If we don't win the ARC, we'll try again if we must and if we can, budget pending. But I'm fully dedicated to the sport, and the aim is to win every event I possibly can. And we'll just continue doing that for the longest time.
You seem to have developed a very close relationship with Leroy and his family. It just appears that relationships built off the track are as important as on the track.
Yeah, the relationship with Leroy and the team is quite strong. They are very, very humble and down to earth, a family and the team as a whole. I don't think also there's been times where we have to borrow parts and other things from Leroy's team. And so, without them, then we wouldn't have some of the wins we've had. So, they are very, very true sports people. And it's amazing.
All right. Oh, thanks as always. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, Karan Patel. Congratulations once again. A brilliant win in Rwanda. And thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411.
Thank you very much.
So that's the winner of the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla Rally, Karan Patel. We'll be back.
Motorsports 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
So that's it for the show this week. Our thanks once again to the podium finishers at the Rwanda Rally, Hamza, Anwar, Leroy, Gomes and Karan Patel. Our thanks as always to Big City Studio. I'm Sean Cardovillis. See you next week.